morning. So, 8 brocades. For those of you who've not done the 8 brocades before, this is a bit of fun. The 8 brocades, basically, it's the Ba Duan Jin. Ba translates roughly to the number 8, I believe. Duan is the silken strands, and Jin is also silken strands. It's basically brocade strands, or 8 brocades, 8 silken strands, golden strands that knit together to create health within the body. Health, they create health, they create and maintain fitness within the body. And you can push yourself as hard or as little as you want with all the exercises. The lower you sink into a stance, the more you will work your heart and your lungs. It becomes more anaerobic. But you only really sink low when you're in a shoulder width, a double width stance, a horse stance if you like. So you're sinking lower here because this is actually, the structure of the legs is more conducive to allowing the thighs to take more weight. But you still need to make sure that the tailbone is dropped. So if you're sinking in too far into your thighs and your tailbone is sticking out, then your posture is incorrect. You need to be readjusting, because what you're doing is you're engaging the outer thigh as opposed to the inner thigh. So the tailbone needs to drop and you need to sort of bring yourself more upright. Again, the head is always suspended so that you're creating the differential between yin and yang, between the center of your body. So you have that upwards kind of energy here and a downward energy into the legs. Again, it should be done from being relaxed, released, and you're not pulling yourself up, lifting the chest. You're raising the head and letting the spine hang. Okay, so when you're in a shoulder width stance, find a shoulder width stance, feet together, turn up the toes, turn up the heels. You don't want to be sinking as low. This is not a squatting stance. Again, if you squat, you engage the outer muscles here. So you take it, take the focus externally to the legs as opposed to internally through the quad. So by dropping the tailbone again and sitting down into the thighs, you're engaging the inner thigh and you're using the actual ball joint here and how it connects into the pelvis as opposed to the muscles that run along the external side of the legs. Ba Duan Jin, 8 brocades. Jin is basically a strand. If you think of it, they talk about silk reeling. You'll hear this term silk reeling with a lot of Tai Chi. Silk reeling, basically, if you watch someone reeling silk, you need to keep things at a smooth, regular pace. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's a bit faster or a bit slower, but it needs to be smooth so that you keep the line with enough tension in to continue pulling the silk out, so it doesn't want to drop in, so you no longer pull, and not too much tension so that you snap the thread. Okay, so it's a connectivity is the analogy. You're looking for a connectivity through the body, not just of how the physical tissues knit together, although that is important. So you're using, first of all, it'll be an external thing from your muscles, and then as you get more into it, you start to become more aware of the internal structure of the body, the actual white tissue and how that connects together, and you start to get more of a feeling of the flow of the movement as it goes through. So you're looking for that kind of jin, the flow from one point of the body to the end. They say one moves, all move, but that doesn't mean to say you move together. You're not sort of being rigid and static like a robot. You're actually, it's a fluid motion, so it will come up from the legs and through and out and express through the arms and then return back through the arms and into the legs and so on and so forth. These are quite advanced concepts, although they sound relatively simple when I speak them out. They're actually really quite difficult to get your head around, so don't judge yourself if you're not feeling it, okay? It takes time, it takes practice, and you have to get through all the layers of tension that build up in the surface of the skin, the muscles and down through, before you can start to really sort of get into the insides and feel out what's going on around the bones and relaxing, releasing and creating the internal differential between yin and yang within the body. So, the way we do Ba Duan Jin is from release. Now, some of the systems that you'll see out there, they use similar exercises, but they are more external in their application. That's not wrong, it's just different in the way it's done. The external side of things is working very much on the external structure, the muscles, and building muscle and that's not a bad thing. Especially in your younger life, you want to be building the muscle. From babies, we start off as babies with being in incredible state of sung, but the incredible state of sung is that we can't stand, we can't walk, we can't move anywhere unless we are aided. So, and over time, you build the muscles so that you can stand, so you can move, but you lose the internal state of sung. So through the Qigong, you are then trying to transfer yourself back to that internal state of sung, but still maintain the strength and the ability to move comfortably. So we start off developing the muscles, working the muscles, and we end up putting what they call stupid Li into the joints. Li is force, effort. Stupid Li is excessive effort. So it's finding out where you're actually using excessive force to move, where you could actually just relax and release more, and you can move much freer. Wow, that's a lot of theory. Let's do some Qigong. First posture of the Baduan Jin, you stand, find your Wu Qi stance. So suspending the head, let the spine hang down, tailbone drops, and connect to the ground. Relaxing the legs, bones floating upright, muscles expand. Then just breathing into the belly. So the first exercise works on the 3 burning spaces. It's known as the circle of contentment. That's how I know it anyway. It's also known as the marriage of heaven and earth and all kinds of weird and wonderful things like that. There are all kinds of names to it. It doesn't really matter. The movement itself is working on the 3 burning spaces. So you have the triple heater as a meridian line within the Chinese healing arts, and it's working on the urogenital system, so it's opening up and relaxing around the groin and the abdomen. Then it's the digestive system working around the diaphragm here, and then there's the aerobic system, anaerobic system, expanding and contracting the chest cavity. So you want to be trying to get this kind of undulation through the body, opening up, opening up, opening up, and then closing down, closing down, closing down as you move. But it's not through force, it's through release, relaxing, so you're massaging your internal organs as you move. If you've done the morning Qigong, you'll be aware of this exercise, but this is just taking it to a little bit more detail, a little bit more technicality, so that you have a better understanding of what it is you're doing. So standing comfortably, feeling the ground beneath the feet, suspending the head, breathing into the belly, relaxing the chest cavity, the diaphragm and the abdomen, and then breathing in, you're pulling yourself up from the top of your head. So you're raising up, and at the same time with the in-breath, you're opening the abdomen, the diaphragm, the chest, then raising the hands up over the head and breathing out. Let the tailbone drop and your hands sinking down, you're closing the chest, diaphragm, belly. So coming up and breathing out. So just be aware of when you're stretching up, are you like putting force into it, or are you just allowing things to float and stretch up comfortably? So as you circle the hands down, make sure that the wrists are soft, elbows released, shoulders are soft. And then just keep going. change. So just breathing in, the hands come up to the chest as you stand up. Breathing out, let the hands float down, come to rest by the sides. Second exercise, this one works on stomach and spleen. So the movements through the body are creating a kind of turning motion through the body. So you get this kind of yin going down, yang going up, and then swapping it around, yin going down, yang going up. So you're creating this kind of, that's exaggeration by the way, as I'm showing here, but that's the idea, is you're creating this kind of movement here around the diaphragm area. Now the diaphragm area is synonymous in Chinese medicine, this area here, with diagnostics of stomach and spleen. So it's working on that area here to kind of influence the stomach and spleen in terms of the Chinese medical profession and practices. Okay, so we start off, the hands come up to the chest as you breathe in. Again, you're lifting up to the head. And then as you breathe out, the hands are at chest height. You're turning the palms so the left hand goes up, right hand goes down, and sinking down. Let the tailbone drop down. So you're pushing up and pushing down as you breathe out. Breathing in, the hands come back up to the chest as you lift up from the head. And breathing out, and you swap the hands, so you're now pushing up with the right, down with the left. So breathing in, breathe out. Now the interesting thing is you're creating that kind of movement through the body, is you still want to be trying to keep your center. So moving along the Z axis of your body, keeping yourself fairly upright. So you don't want to be sort of like doing this kind of thing. You need to be kind of here. Here we go. Lost my rhythm. Change. So the hands come up, palms to the floor, pushing down. Come to rest. Posture 3 is the archer posture. It's often referred to as draw bow, shoot eagle. That's probably not very politically correct, so we'll just use archer pose. So it's a double width stance, so if you really want to work yourself a bit harder, you're sinking more into the thighs, but again, make sure your knees don't go too far over the edge of the toes. You want to keep the knees relaxed, released, over the toes, tailbone dropped, sinking into the thighs. If it's uncomfortable having your feet parallel, pointing straight in front, you can turn your toes out more to the corner. I was always taught there, and that feels more natural to me now because I've been doing it for a very long time, and just relaxing down through. So it doesn't really matter if your feet are parallel or pointing to the corner. What matters is the knee position. Don't let the knees drop in, and don't push the knees too far out, okay? So you're engaging down through the choir again, sitting down, and then we just bring our hands up to the chest. Take a couple of breaths. And I'm going to go to the left to start with. So I'm breathing in and I'm taking my left hand out as though I'm pushing a bow out, and then draw the right hand back as though you're drawing the bowstring. And release, let the hands just float round as you breathe out, and breathe in to the other side. And breathe out. So this one, the stretch is across the chest and into the shoulders. So you're opening here, across the chest, opening up the chest cavity this way. It's like one of those chest expander exercises, okay? So this is increasing the size of the chest cavity. It's opening up the lungs, opening up the heart sac, if you like, and then closing down as you come back round, okay? But through release, not stress, not strain, okay? So if you're putting tension into the body as you're pulling through, that would be like the karate tensho stuff they do. That's an external exercise working on the muscles, okay? This is an internal exercise, so through release, you're opening to soften the chest, feel where any tightness is across the shoulder blades and into the chest, and then release it, let it go. Circling the hands down, breathing out, breathe in, and breathe out. And then we change, so circling the hands down. Breathe in, bring the hands up to the chest. Breathe out, turn the palms to the floor, just pushing down as though you're pushing through water. And then come back up to a shoulder width stance. Just give the legs a shake if you need to. With your weight, feet shoulder width apart. Again, connect to the ground. Suspending the head, tuck the chin, let the spine hang down, drop the tailbone as though you're sitting on a stool. So the next one is Wise Owl turns his head to eliminate fatigue. So what you're doing is the palms will turn outwards as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, the palms turn back to face behind you. You can have your hands slightly in front of you or out to the sides, whatever you're more comfortable with. At the same time, on the in-breath, the head turns over one shoulder and then comes back to the center, and then you alternate turning over the other shoulder and coming back to the center. And you're trying to coordinate that with the breath. So breathing in, and breathe out. Coordinating hands and neck turn together. Breathing in, and breathe out. So again, being aware of the tension through the body, and then release. and change. So breathing in, bring the hands up the center line. Breathe out, turn the palms to the floor, push down. And relax. Posture 5, again, this is a double width stance. So this one is known as wag the tail to eliminate heart fire. So the idea is that you're sinking into your thighs, sinking into the hips, and you're going to rotate the body round using the hips here. So you don't want to be rolling from your spine and keeping the legs tight, because if you do that, you put too much strain and pressure into the back. So you're sinking down, relaxing. Please take this at your own pace, okay? The lower you go, the harder you'll work, and as the name suggests, heart fire is when the heart and the emotions are out of sync and they're like, they're getting too carried away. By doing this kind of a physical exercise, you increase the pressure on the heart and the lungs, and it helps to burn off the heart fire, if you like. So it is an anaerobic exercise, and it can be quite physically demanding. So just be aware of that and only take it at your own pace to what you're comfortable of. Eliminating heart fire is a great thing. If you have too much heart fire, then the kidneys have to work really, really hard in order to put the heart fire out, if you follow Chinese medicine in a new way. Okay, so this actually helps. First of all, it helps calm you down. It helps remove excess emotion that you don't need. Not remove, dissipate, because you always have your emotions, but it just helps to dissipate it. So if you like anxious, anxiety, even depression as well, that's a suppression of heart fire, if you like. So we're just sinking in, sinking down into the hips, and again, you're rolling into the hip, rolling the head round, roll round to the other hip, and come up. So that we are stretched through the body. Again, you need to be from release and taking it nice and steady. Don't hold your breath. Allow yourself just to breathe normally, naturally, comfortably. And change. So just breathe in, hands come up the center line, breathe out, palms to the floor, and just push the hands down. Come up to your shoulder width stance. Posture 6, find your shoulder width, feet together, turn up the toes, turn up heels. Snake climbs the tree. This is a stretching exercise through the body. So first part, you breathe in, you stretch up, and you allow the body to stretch out, and then breathing out, the hands come down onto the ribs, round to the kidneys. So that's a full body stretch. You're stretching up through, stretching the arms, then the hand position coming in here, stretches the shoulders through to the elbows and down the hands, and then bringing your hands round onto the kidneys, stretches across the shoulders. Part 2, you're rolling your back down, letting your back hang from the waist, shoulders hang from the spine, head hangs from the neck, and at the same time you're running your hands down the back of the legs. Then the fingers come round the toes if you can. If you need to be up higher, then be up higher. Just take the hands round, but they come round onto the inside. Then bending your knees, you roll your back up and stretch up again through the body. The hands come to the hips. Begin again, part 1, breathing in, stretching up. So the hands are coming up the sides, up over the head, and then breathe out, coming round, back, and then sinking down, breathing in, and breathe out, bending the knees, rolling up. Breathe in, And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Running the hands down the body like this also helps stimulate the major meridian lines. Not all of them, but most of them. In fact, actually, it probably does get the long ones anyway, the ones that go down the legs. And then finally stretching up, breathing in. Stretch out, let the hands come down and rest by the sides. Seventh posture, the pugilist. So again, double width stance. So that denotes that we're working more on heart and lungs, anaerobic, because we're sinking down a bit lower. The younger you are, the lower you should go. Okay. Watch your knees, please. Don't let them drop in or twist out, and just relaxing the legs as you sit. Tailbone drops, chin tucked. Bring the hands in so they form fists halfway between shoulders and hips. Now, this is done as a martial arts exercise, and you'll see the Shaolin monks, they'll be bang, and they'll be putting the force into it. We're not doing that. What we're doing is creating a stretch through the body. So there's a rotation around the spine as the hand comes out and punching out without putting any force in. And that helps to massage this area around here, the diaphragm and just below the upper waist, if you like. And that helps to break up any energetic tension, physical tension that is housed in the liver. This is also very, very good for dissipating anger, okay, because the anger is where we store our liver, and too much anger will damage the liver over time. So just allow your breathing to fall into a pattern that works for you. Let the hand float out. Then as you draw your elbow back, bringing the hand back, the other hand floats out. And keep going, and you'll feel that there's this kind of rotation through the body. And you'll feel how that momentum goes into the legs, transfers into the legs. Just allow that to happen, softening, relaxing, releasing. So you're creating a nice gentle stretch through the body. If you feel strain, see if you can get that strain to release. And then sitting back against the spine, just allow yourself to move and breathe. last one. And just draw the elbow back so both hands come back up halfway between shoulders and hips. Breathe in, bring the hands up to the center line, up to the chest. Breathe out, turn the palms, push down. Coming up to your shoulder width stance again, final posture. Shake the back to eliminate the 100 ills. Now the idea of this is you're working on a stretch through the spine and then a release, relaxing, okay? The drop shakes the back, shakes the spine, shakes the muscles, shakes the internal organs and helps to free up tension. If you work from the premise that illness is a form of dis-ease, okay? It's a dis-ease in the body. Now, you're not going to do this and it's going to completely eradicate any infections that you've got and what have you. What it does is it helps your body assimilate. It helps your body assimilate treatments that you might be going through, and it lessens the impact of things, which then allows you to heal quicker, okay? So it's not that you will do this exercise and that will be it. You'll never ever get ill, or oh, I've got something horribly wrong with me and I can do this exercise and I'll be well. It's an aid. You build and work with these things and you have to take them at the pace your body can cope with, okay? If at any time with any of these exercises you start to discover incredible pain or agony or something along those lines, then for God's sake, stop. Yeah, do not force through. This is not pushing through. This is identifying where things are wrong and then allowing the body to heal, allowing yourself to sort of find those areas of tension, dis-ease, open them, relax them, release them. And if you're having medical treatment, then you combine it with that medical treatment. Okay, this is not a replacement, it's an addition. It's something that can help with, and if you have any concerns whatsoever, then consult your doctor, okay? Do not push ahead and think, oh, I can get rid of all the drugs and I can do my Qigong and I'll be fine, because that is kind of denial, if you like. It's not necessarily a good thing. Badwan Jin can help you maintain health. It can help you improve health over time through continual practice, but it is not a replacement for medical technology, okay? Because actually the two working together is a phenomenal system. If you think about it, if you really break down and something horribly goes wrong with it, Western medicine's fantastic. What they can fix, what they can do is just incredible. The Chinese side of things helps you move. It helps you keep going. It helps you relax, release, find out what's going on inside. So the two complement each other. It is a complementary thing. That was an interesting bit of preachiness. Anyway, wag the back, shake the back to eliminate the 100 ills. So the idea is that you're stretching up and then you're allowing yourself to drop. So you let the body release, relax. But do be careful when you drop. You're not shocking your knees. You're not trying to force yourself into the ground. It's coming up, stretching. And as you lift up from the head, the hands come up, stretching through the body, and you're coming up onto the toes. And then you just drop from the tailbone and let it go. Mind the shock in the knees, just take it steady. If you can't come up onto your toes, then don't. Just push down with the toes into the ground and just feel that kind of stretch coming up, and then let yourself drop again. Over time, you get to the point where you can lift yourself up, and that's fine. So, taking it steady, breathing in, the hands come up over the head. And breathe out, let yourself drop down. So you're lifting from the top of the head as you breathe in, stretching up through the body, coming up onto the toes. And breathing out, let yourself drop. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we are done. And relax. So that's shake the back 7 times to eliminate the 100 ills. And that is all 8 of the postures of the Badwan Jin. Obviously, as we've only got a limited amount of time in the class, I'm only doing a certain number of repetitions of each movement Feel free to, if you want to, spend longer going through the movements as much as possible. The idea of Qigong is to continually practice the movement until the body enters the sublime state. That takes a lot of time and practice, okay? And it's fun to get there if you choose. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that set. I hope that gave you a bit of information and insight into the Baduan Jin. If you have any questions, queries, or would like to leave any feedback, then please do so in the comments below. I'll be back 7 AM tomorrow morning with another general Qigong set, and we have the Yichuan set at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning here in the Dragon Warrior Qigong group. Yeah, all that's left to say is thanks for joining me. Have a really great day. We'll see you in the next one.